What's going on? How y'all doing? I had some time to kind of like digest Randy Moss's tears the other day. Um, and I have no problem with the black man crying his emotions. He wasn't crying because he was supporting John Gruden. He was crying because of the racism in the NFL. But I think it's a deeper wound. I think he did 14 years and he went through a lot at Marshall in college. A lot of people who don't have him follow, he was a basketball player. As a matter of fact, him and Jason White Chocolate Williams were teammates. And you know White Chocolate had an NBA career at Sacramento Kings. He ended up winning a ring with Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal in Miami in the 2006 season. He was seen as like a point guard version of Pistol P for his era. He was a little bit erratic, but he was good. But the point is, Randy Moss was the most gifted wide receiver I ever saw. I'm not going to say he was better than Jerry Rice, and I'll say him and Terrell Owens can make a case in that 2-3 slot. I'm giving Jerry Rice a slight edge, but I will say this. He was the most gifted wide receiver I've ever seen. He was like a ballet dancer. His feet were unprecedented, his motions, his movement. He was a freak of nature. I remember when Dave Wannstedt, the little try that the Magnum PI Tom Selleck mustache, when the Chicago Bears go talk trash and try to talk trash. There was a time in the NFL that if you draft a certain player and their reputation kind of predate them, it's like, I wouldn't touch him. The Dallas Cowboys didn't touch Randy Moss, and he tore they behind up every chance he got. And Wannstedt talked trash, backfired. Yeah. Wannstedt didn't last half as long as Randy Moss did in the NFL. Randy Moss, first ballot Hall of Fame groundbreaker. He dealt with racism, and he reflected on it from college and what he read. But I want him to talk about the NFL racism. Because how he was in Minnesota when he did different things. And then he got sent to Saudi Arabia, which was ironically the Raiders in Oakland. The Raiders were so horrible that he sat on the bench and it was horrible. Until Bill Belichick got him to New England. He played with Tom Brady and he had that magical year. Now, he had a tendency to kind of outwear his welcoming spots, but when he gave you top tier performances, he was the baddest show. And I'm no all apologies to Terrell Owens, but Randy Moss was like a freak of nature. I mean, it was incredible. It's just like the spectacular. He had that it. So, I watched, and I have said that he hurt by, but no one's there to console him. Because if they told the truth, if these black journalists and these people told the truth, they would get fired from their jobs because they would tell you how racist and evil the NFL is and that they don't care about black folks and that there are plenty of John Grudens around. And Jamel Hill did a piece where she was talking about that. Read that on Twitter, and I already know. I read between the lines. All I have to do is look at Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, and I look at what they did, and I read between the lines. John Gruden is one of many in NFL. It ain't just a hand sprinkle field. All these young white NFL head coaches, how do you think they got those positions? There are a lot of young white head coaches, but where's the next young Mike Tomlin at? See, they put them in places for purposes. They get the best quarterbacks, best position. Black man gets to coach the Houston Texans now, and he's told by ownership that Deshaun Watson is deactivated, even though he hasn't been charged with nothing, but he just sits in uniform and has to sit there on the sidelines. What is that about? That's ownership. That's a plantation. So Randy Moss is crying about the unknown. I wish he would speak, but he won't because he has to get that bag, and I got to respect that because he works. But he was to tell the whole truth. But the NFL, for real, they probably throw his bus out on the side of the road from Canton, and he would never be allowed in a stadium, let alone on the TV set. Best believe he know more than what he say. Those tears ain't just because of not only what he experienced. He know how that NFL plantation go, and what Roger Goodell will never say. Those emails and Daniel and all around the NFL and a collusion. Remember, they were in collusion against Colin Kaepernick. There's more to it. It's a pandemic. It's about to, if it was supposed to. That's my thoughts and takes about Randy Moss's tears, the pain of not only the past and not only what he played through, but the present reality of the NFL. There is deep to the eye. Please hit the like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another, and I wish the truth would come out. But just like how they made that Patriots videotape burn and go away, that's what they tell Roger Goodell to do. They pull the puppet strings. There's more.